everyone, welcome back. I'm Katie, and today I am doing my monthly TBR Around the World. Yes, it is almost June. Yes, I'm wearing a turtleneck. Yes, it's 78 degrees outside, but in the house it feels like it's 50. So I needed a little bit of a warmer shirt. I was wearing a tank top and I was freezing. So yeah, this house holds great coolness. It's not great for winter, but it's great for like this time when like it's just starting to get warm out and it's still kind of cold. But yeah, I'm freezing. So this is the outfit for today. It may look like it's winter to you, but I guarantee you it is getting warmer outside. So anyways, let's go ahead. So I can say that I did complete my TBR for May. Yes, May. So happy about that, honestly. I wasn't sure because of our book trip with me and my mom, but yes, it got accomplished. I'm happy about that. Very happy, actually. I'm sorry about the chaos on my shelves, but I am in the works of organizing my shelves to do a bookshelf tour soon. Tour soon. A bookshelf tour very soon. I'm actually planning a short one next week and a longer one, I think, at the end of June. So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. I do have a book cart in front of me that I'm hoping to move some of these over there and have just my Christian fiction on these shelves, but we'll see. My collection has steadily grown in just the past year. Everything used to fit on these shelves, like one row a piece, and now it's just become chaos. So yes, I have unhauled quite a few, but yeah, I'm also keeping a lot. So might need another book cart or another bookshelf. We'll see. Anyways, so let's go ahead and go through the books for last month. I have my reading journal. I have to look up May, not June or April. There's May. All right. So I had 5 books last month, and the first one was for a title that has a number, and I finished it. I think I finished this book last night, and it was One Came Home by Amy Timberlake, so I finished that one, and I'll talk about these in my wrap-up on Thursday. Next one was for a nature scene on the cover, and for that one I read Cry of the Raven by Morgan L. Busse, and I did read that one. Next I got a genre wheel, and landed on fantasy, and for that I read Mark of the Raven by Morgan L. Busse. Yeah, I fit all of her books on this TBR. Next one was another genre wheel, and we got another fantasy. I forgot about that. And I read Flight of the Raven by Morgan L. Busse. So I fit all of her books on there, which was great. And the last one, which was Travel Prompt, and that was set in the US, and I read Shadows in the Mind's Eye by Jane Eyre Trump, and I did read that one too. So all accomplished. Yay, I'm so excited. All right, so let's just go ahead and get on into our rolls and see what we're going to be reading for June. Okay, everyone, so here is the board game where we go through the entire board. I will always link the playlist down below in the description box so you can check out my TBR game from the very beginning so you can get the rules, etc. So there is, if you missed it last month, there is a new edition. If I get the TBR Star Jar, which is, what was that? Suitcase. If I land on a suitcase, I do use a claw machine to pick a random book, and I love it so much. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have my little Mickey Mouse this month. I think I used him last month, but that's okay. We'll use him again. But I did get a new dice. So I got this one in a bubblegum machine while I was on vacation. There is a 1 though. So this is a 12-sided dice. So there are options to get up to 12, but I could get a 1. With 2 dice, there was no possible way to get a 1. So I could get a 1. So this might be getting me a lot more books than my usual average of 5. So we'll see. But I've been stealing dice from another game. So we finally have a dice for my TBR game. All right. So let's go ahead and mix up my cards before we start. I seriously don't know why I mix them, because they're mixed every time I do the game, and I never add in new one or my old ones until I get close to finishing these. So I guess I don't have to do that every time I play the game. Oh well, all right. So let's go on to roll number 1. Roll number 1 with our new dice. Oh yeah, that's great. Start off with a 1, shall we? Oh, that's a great start. Okay. One big whopping 1 lands us on Passport, which is friend pick. So I'm gonna spin a wheel and we get to find out what type of friend gets to pick. Because I have a booktube friend, my mom, my dad, like a regular friend, like someone from Facebook, or friend in real life. So yeah, so those are the options. Let's go see what I get. For our first roll, we rolled a whopping 1. That one was always great. I knew that was bound to happen. I was like, if I'm gonna go down from 2 dice down to 1, there is a chance that I would get a 1. First roll, right? Absolutely great. All right, but anyways, so our first prompt was a friend pick, and I rolled the wheel and it landed on, was it Facebook group? Yeah, Facebook group. So I was gonna do one Christian group, but then I thought, I just got back from the Fiction Readers Summit and they have a Facebook group. So yeah, I'm gonna ask my new book friends to pick me a book. So I put 3 options for them. All were from authors that were there at the event. So I had them written down somewhere. There we go. So I gave them options for The Reluctant Rival by Misa Andrews, 26 Below by Kimberly Woodhouse, and Secrets in the Mist by Morgan Albasi. And the one that got chosen was, I knew it was in this pile somewhere, 26 Below by Kimberly Woodhouse. And so yeah, so I'm really excited to get to this one, because I know Kimberly doesn't really write a ton of suspense books. She writes more historical fiction. So I'm really excited to check this one out. I have read like a dual timeline kind of suspense book. It was historical and modern timeline. So I'm excited to see what this is about. I love the cover, and this was sent from her publisher, I believe. Either the publisher or Baker Bookhouse sent it. I still have no idea who sent it. It just came in my mailbox after our trip, so happy I didn't buy it, because the Lord blessed me with a copy, so I'm happy to read it. And I can't wait, because I definitely wanted to read this book. And the cover, stunning. So this one's about, I know a little bit about it. I know there's this girl who, she works at a emergency operations center in Fairbanks, Alaska. So if you're an Alaska fan, this is for you. And then there's also a cybersecurity specialist named Jason Myers, who's determined to ferret out any threat to the town he now calls home. So looks like there's eco-terrorism, and there's this supposed old woman who has a wild prediction that widespread destruction is going to happen once the temperature falls below 26. So it sounds really good. I'm sorry about the glare. It's a very shiny cover. But yeah, so I'm very excited to read that one. I'm excited that I have a copy. That's a little better. We got a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we got a single cloud, which is one of these. So our first prompt card is Set in Another World. Okay, so this is definitely fantasy or sci-fi. Sci-fi? No, sci-fi mostly takes place like in our real world. So definitely has to be fantasy, which is actually okay, because I do have some fantasy I'd like to get to. All right, that's our first prompt card that we got so far. All right, so we landed on our first cloud prompt, and for that one we got Set in Another World. And I thought at first that I was like, I don't know what I wanted to read. I was going to read a sci-fi, because there are some that are set in space. That is technically another world, so to speak. Really? I don't have it up there. I must have left it downstairs. I really thought I had it up here. But I do have the first book, so that's good. Oh, I don't know if I can reach it, though. I'm going to hurt myself one of these days. All right, but I have the first book. But I'm going to be reading the second book in the Blameless series by E.S. Christensen. This is a fantasy upper middle grade series that I have been loving. I read the first book and I was blown away. I loved it so much. I love the characters and the setting. just great. So the second one is called The Tarnished. So I'll put a picture up here somewhere. But yeah, so I'm really excited. This is about a girl who she is an heir to a kingdom, and her family is killed. And these three men end up rescuing her from the bad guys. And their camaraderie, their humor, it's just a great fantasy series that I'm really enjoying. And E.S. Christensen is actually writing the third book right now. So I cannot wait to get my hands on the third book and read that one. So I've kind of been taking my time getting to the second book, because that way, hopefully the third book will come out within the next year, so I won't forget. But this one was really good, and I cannot wait to read the sequel. Rule number 3. High numbers. A 2. Come on, really? Okay, so I might make this into my punishment dice, but for this month, I have a lot of books I want to get to anyway, so we'll just continue with it. But I had a feeling this dice was going to get me a lot more. Yeah, a lot more. Okay. 1, 2, a cloud. So 1 prompt card. Let's see what we got. We got newest purchase. So that's from my friend Carla King, who is a subscriber. So thank you very much, Carla. Newest purchase. I love that because I just came back from a book weekend. This is a perfect prompt. Perfect. Rule number 3, we got another cloud prompt, and that was newest purchased, which I love that prompt. Love that prompt so much. So yeah, honestly, this would have been really tough for me usually because I don't buy books very often. I really don't anymore. But I took that book trip and I came home with lots of books and books that I actually bought for myself. So yeah, I actually have a book haul. So I'm really happy that that prompt came up now instead of another time, because I probably would not have remembered what I bought before. So I'm actually going to be reading this book right here because I'm on the author's launch team for the second book. So I'll be reading Authentically Izzy by Paperbacks, because I have not read this one, but I've heard amazing things about it. The cover is stunning. And I'm like one of the only ones that loves an illustrated cover, but seriously, I love illustrated covers like so much. So yeah, I'll be reading this one, and then I'll be reading the sequel to it, which I do have not a physical copy, but I do have a Word document copy of it that I can read before it comes out. So I'm very excited. So this one, I know this is can I remember the word for letters? Is it Episcopal? Please help me out, because I rarely read books that have letters in it, but it's Episcopal, right? Something like that. But yeah, so this one is, I believe, mostly in a letter format. There are some dialogue and stuff throughout, but there is a lot of emails and stuff throughout the book, which I'm really excited about because I haven't read one of those in at least a good year or so. But yeah, so I'm really excited. So this one is about Isabel, and she's Izzy for short. And she lives by blue tinted mountains, which I'm pretty sure this is probably set in the Blue Ridge Mountains, because Pepper loves the Blue Ridge Mountains, that's for sure. So it says, she finds contentment in fresh air and books. Oh, yes, please. And coffee and tea. Coffee, no, but tea, yes. Coffee sometimes. Okay, and then occasionally in being accosted by the love of my family. You'll understand my verb choice in the phrase later. I dream of opening my own bookstore, but my life, particularly my romantic history, has not been the stuff of fairy tales, which is probably why my pregnant, misled, matchmaking cousin, who really is more like my sister, signed me up for an online dating community. So, sounds good. I'm excited. I have been loving Paperbacks' books. I've only read 2 of her books, but I now want to read everything that she's ever written. So this is a good jump off point to read more by her. So yay. Okay, we're on already rule number 4. So yeah, this dice, I always wondered, I have a friend on YouTube who uses, I think she does use a single die. No wonder she has so many books on her TBR. Okay, let's see what we get. Another 2. Okay, yeah. This might be my punishment dice from now on. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. 1, 2. Thankfully, we missed the rainbow. And we got another cloud. We're getting so many clouds this month. At least I get a fairly broad variety of books I could choose. Oh, that's nice and easy. Historical fiction. Nice. I always read a ton of historical fiction. I don't think I have a ton this month, but I'm sure I have at least one somewhere. All right. That one's easy to fulfill. All All right, so for roll number 4, we got another cloud prompt, and we got historical fiction, which actually I might get rid of that card. I'm using it now, but I'm going to get rid of that card for the future because historical fiction, I mean, it's on my genre wheel. So I don't know why I have it as a prompt card. Maybe that was before I made my wheel, but we got historical fiction, and for that one, I'm going to be reading The School for German Brides by Amy K. Runyon. And this was one of my most anticipated releases of last year. Never got to it. I don't know why, because the premise just sounds really good, and I think I'm going to like it. But I will be reading this with my dear friend Krista over at Books and Jam. And we're going to be buddy reading that together in June. She forgot, but I didn't. But we are buddy reading together that next month, and I'm just so excited because I do love to buddy read with her, and we haven't buddy read in a long time, so I'm really happy to do that. This one is about a girl who, it's during like the very beginnings, I believe, of World War II, and so this woman is kind of being trained and being sent to this school to become a German bride, to become a bride to maybe a German officer, or just somebody who has probably a little bit more of a title in the German area. But I believe one day she ends up finding a Jewish woman near the school, and she ends up befriending her and hopefully helping her. So I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be really good. I love those types of stories where there's like friendship, where there shouldn't be friendship, or where they're not supposed to in society, but they end up being friends anyway. So like, I love stories like that. So I can't wait. It's gonna be great. Roll number 5. Is this 5? Yeah, 5. Almost forgot. All right. Oh, that's good. Is that a 6? That's a 6. Okay. So that's a little bit better than what we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got the globe, which is, I forgot what it was, genres on a wheel. So I spin a wheel of genres, and that's what I get. So I got 2 genre prompts in a row. That's pretty nice. Hopefully it's not historical fiction again. For roll number 5, we got the globe, which is my genre wheel, and we spun the wheel, and it landed on classic. If you know me, I don't read a lot of classics. I do have my classic shelf back here, this really skinny shelf, but the majority of my love of classics belongs to middle grade classics. Some adult classics, but not very many. So I'm trying to read more because I do want to. But I was trying to figure out, I'm like, I'm not in the mood for classic this month. What am I going to read? What am I in the mood for? Because I'm not in the mood for a classic this month. But then I remembered I want to get to this book, and I'm getting to it now. So this is actually one of my best friends, Holly, over at Lovely Day with Holly. Wow. brain is gone. Bye. But anyway, so Lovely Day with Holly, this is one of her favorite books, and my dad has enjoyed other books by this author. So I will be reading The Princess and the Goblin by George MacDonald, and I'm just so excited. This is a kind of Christian classic. 1950s, I believe, was when it was made. So I would consider it a more modern classic, but still a classic. But I know nothing about this. All I know is that he was friends with C.S. Lewis. I believe George MacDonald was a pastor, if I'm not mistaken. But he just writes quite a few light fantasy reads, and I'm just really excited because I love fantasy reads. I'm not sure if this one is geared more toward middle grade or YA, not sure, but I'm just excited to read it because I've heard really good things about it, and it has been on my list, honestly, probably since I was little, because I remember my dad talking about George MacDonald, but it wasn't this particular book, it was another book. But I can't wait to get to it, so I'm definitely going to be reading that one this month. Roll number 6. That went off the board, but I did get an 11, so I'm not re-rolling that. But so I got 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Nice. Passport. And Passport is another friend pick. So let's see what type of friend is picking my book. All right, so roll number 6 gave us another friend pick. So I spun my wheel of friends, and a book club came up. Now, book club could have meant our book club read, because it was chosen by friends, it was chosen by us as a group. But I figured, you know what? Why not just ask them? So I asked all of my booktube friends in our group, and so I put 3 options again for this one. I gave them, let's see, My Stubborn Heart by Becky Wade, The Love Note by Joanna Davidson-Politano, and Whose Waves Are These by Amanda Dykes. Now, I honestly thought Becky Wade was going to win. I really did, because I know some fans of Becky Wade in the group. And so when this one came up, I was like, oh, okay, because like this is one that I really wanted to read. So I was very excited. And I have a copy. Again, it's most likely way up there behind other books too. So unless I moved it over here. No, I don't think I did move one up. I'm still organizing bookshelves here. It'll get organized hopefully soon. Well, it has to be within the next week. But anyway, so I'll be reading The Love Note by Joanna Davidson-Politano. And I'm really excited because I heard that you should read this book before The Lost Melody, which I read last year. That was actually my first Joanna book. And I fell in love. Her writing is so beautiful. And I loved it so much. But I heard that this one, I think it's this one, that you should read before The Lost Melody, because there's a character that appears in this book in The Lost Melody. So I'm really excited. I think this one is about a ballerina. That's all I really know about it. But I'm excited because I grew up wanting to be a ballerina. I knew I wouldn't, but a girl can dream. But yeah, so I'm really excited to read that one. I've been wanting to read more of Joanna's books, and she is honestly one of my favorite authors, even though I've only read one book by her. So you know it's good if you only read one book and you love her already. Roll number 7. We got an 8. Oops, I forgot to zoom in, but it is an 8. So I might as well just go ahead and count our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice. We're at the end. And so, yeah, so that wasn't bad. That was 7 rolls instead of 5. So that actually wasn't bad with the dice. So I think I'm going to keep it because I was complaining that I always got 5. So got 7 this month. All right, so we get 1 travel style prompt for our last roll, and that is, ooh, okay, that's set in France. Okay, so I need to find a book set in France, which would actually be easy if I was reading World War II fiction. I am reading one, but I think it's set in Germany, so it's not France. I'm going to have to find a book set in France. So that is my last prompt. Let's go see what we get. All right, so this is our last roll, and then I'll also do my Read Around the World-a-thon as well, so stay tuned for that. But our last prompt was set in France, and this one was tough because none of the books I wanted to read are set in France, so that was always helpful. But I went looking on, I think I was on Hoopla and Libby, and Google too. I was on everywhere. I was like, okay, I'm just going to look up books set in France. So this one popped up. We'll see. If you've read it, let me know what you thought of it. You do know I like my romance clean. I do believe it is secular fiction, so we'll see. We'll see. But sometimes I like to give a shot to secular romances just to see if there's any clean ones that I can come across. So this one sounded interesting. So this one is called The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown, and this one popped up like super quickly. So maybe it was meant to be, and maybe it's going to be a clean one. So this one has a very interesting premise. So this is about a boyfriend and girlfriend, and they're traveling. I can't remember where they're going, but they're on a train headed to somewhere. I can't remember what country it is. But the train ends up breaking apart, and they end up being separated. One is going to their destination, and the girl is headed off to Paris. And she has no idea. And so she ends up meeting someone on the train that ends up being some Parisian man. And so I'm sure there is a possible love relationship happening. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of like a love triangle thing, but this honestly seems more like a old Hollywood style movie. You know, like hey, this girl was engaged to this man, but then something happens and she ends up meeting someone. So I'm interested to see what it's like. I hope I like it. If you've read it, let me know. It seems like it's more of a newer release maybe. I have heard no one talk about this book, like at all. I haven't seen it around on Facebook, on YouTube, nowhere. So let me know if you've read it or heard of it. Let me know if it's any good. I hope it's good. All right, so let's go ahead and spin or roll for my Read Around the World-a-thon. I almost forgot my one roll for my Read Around the World-a-thon. So if you're just tuning into my channel, this is the Readathon that I do for everybody. I have printables down below in the description box. I have the announcement video, And you can pop in anytime. You either do one roll a month or you can do the entire board game every month. So it's your choice. I put little stickers for where I finished. So this was my last space. So I'm just going to use my little Mickey. And I use 1 dice for this game, 6-sided. So let's see what we get. Got a 4. Nice. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got a cloud prompt, which is, just want to make sure, yeah, it's just prompt cards. Okay. So these are just the cloud prompts. So we pick one from here. I already mixed these up. So mine is a book with a 5+ word title. Okay, let's see if we can find one. Okay, so for my roll for Read Around the World-a-thon, I got the lovely cloud prompt, and we got a 5+ word title. Thought it was going to be harder than it was, because normally after like 4 words, you're going to get really hard books to find. But I did find one, which I'm really happy about because I actually have to read it for a book review, so I can get to it. Yay. And it is called In the Shadow of the River by Anne H. Gabbard. And thank you to Baker for sending this one over to me because I'm really excited to read really anything from Baker Publishing. They have upped their game. Their books that have come out in the past 2 years have been amazing. I've loved almost every single one of the books that I've gotten for review. So I got this one. I'm very happy to read it. This is like a kind of, I believe it's like a Mississippi riverboat style book. And yeah, I'm really interested to see. I've never read a book by Anne, so I love finding new authors. And this is the best way, honestly, to review their books. And I get a chance to read them for the first time. So I'm very excited to give her book a try and hopefully be able to find even more books by her that I love. So yeah, those are all the books. I forgot to write down, my brain is gone again, but I forgot to write down the book for our book club, our Christian book club. And I'm the one who voted on it too. I voted for that one and I forgot to write it down. I looked it up. I was good. I actually looked it up. It's called The Hunter and the Valley of Death by Brennan McPherson. And so yeah, so it's the first book in a psalm series. And I think it's just kind of based off a certain psalm in the Bible. And so it has kind of like a message about that psalm woven throughout the story. So I've read book number 2. Yes, I read them out of order. I don't normally do that in series, but Misu, I wanted to read hers. So I read hers and then I can go back and read the first one and then read the third one when I'm done. So yeah, so I don't have many other books planned. I do have like a list of books in here on my reading journal here. I don't know if you can actually see anything on there, but I do have a list on my bookshelf of books that are for yearly reading challenges, because I've finished quite a few reading challenges this year, but I still have, I think, 3 more to finish and about 4 books for each challenge. So it's doable. I could finish them in June. That's always my goal. No matter how many reading challenges I have in the year, I always try to finish them by the end of June. It doesn't work. I usually end up finishing 1 or 2 of them by October or November. But I figured, I always just try, I could fit so many books. Like I either finish challenges or I just have so many books that I read that fit prompts, which is great. But then I end up with like 4 books that I wait until like October to finish. And it's like, really? Like I could finish those in like June if I really like stuck to my reading list. Anyway, so yeah, that's the goal. I do want to tell you that I am planning on something different for next month because July is my birthday month. So I am planning on doing I guess I could tell you now. Why not? And if you miss this video, then you'll be surprised. But I mean, it's not a huge surprise, but I'm not doing my TBR game next month. I am doing my 1 roll for my Read Around the World-a-thon because I'm doing that with you guys all year. But I will be doing a break for my TBR game. And it is going to be my very first month of mood reading. Now I know, technically, even though you have TBR games, technically I'm still mood reading because I choose books to read, but I always have a set TBR. I always have these you know, honestly 15 to 20 books that I want to get to for each month. And I just want July to just be, I want to be free. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my one roll for next month. Just thought I'd share. But I'm also probably going to be choosing my first books right on camera with you when July comes around. So I'll be picking a few books on my shelves that I'm in the mood to read right when that video comes out. So honestly, I see a few that like I'm kind of interested in right now, but that could change next month because it is mood reading month. I'm not going to force myself to read anything other than book review books. That's it. And my Read Around the World-a-thon. But other than that, I'm not going to be doing any, I don't even think I'm going to be doing any, because I'm part of like a couple Facebook groups that have like monthly TBR games. I'm not even going to do that in July. I just want a free month of, if I want to, read absolutely nothing. But I just want to read whatever appeals to me, you know? I have a list kind of going of like stuff I've been interested in for like a really long time that I've kind of just put on a list in case like I'm stuck because I haven't mood read in a very long time. So like this is new to me and it will be new for you watching because yeah, I'll be picking my very first book out on camera because I'm not going to look at my books even though some are saying, pick me. We're going to pick right on camera next month. So yeah, so those are the books that I'll be reading. I forgot to kind of hold them up. I don't have very many books to show you physically. But yeah, so I had 7 books. I only have 2 that I got my hands on right now. So the rest you just have to imagine there being more books up there. But anyway, so I'm excited especially for these 2. Like, got my hands on these and I'm ready to go. I want to read these so badly. I will be back with reading sprints this Wednesday. I was going to do it last Wednesday and yeah, just kind of forgot. Yeah, that was a weekend of just relaxing and getting back to doing everyday things. So yes, it will happen. We will have reading sprints this Wednesday as long as everything goes according to plan. Plan for that. All right, which is tomorrow for you guys. It's Sunday here, but by the time you see this video, it will be Tuesday. So tomorrow we'll have reading sprints and we'll have fun and read. And I don't know what I will be reading, but I'll pick something. All right, so I love you all and I hope you have a wonderful day. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow for reading sprints.